this continent has in abundance. Africa is the richest continent on earth in terms of resources. And the paradox is that Africa is also the poorest in terms of living conditions of these people. This must be changed. And we finally choosing. And then we want to say that we must invest in the political stability, without which all these other investments count for nothing. Finally, we must conquer that all-time enemy of progress, the cancer of corruption that is stealing the billions. These are billions we borrow or raise from taxes to create jobs and build hospitals and schools, and which some people divert into own pockets. By estimates of the Federal Investigations Bureau, we lose about 800 billion shillings every year to corruption. Because most of the projects that we do, particularly infrastructure projects, are all overinflated in terms of prices. If we address this, we'll have more resources available for development generally. Foreigners will not help us end corruption. We'll have to stand up ourselves against people who trade in corruption and ask them to please give our country a chance to grow. We'll do so by standing with the government when it acts on corruption instead of feeling sorry for the corrupt thief. I'm glad this country is taking the lead in all these areas, building political stability locally, championing trade, investing in manufacturing, and declaring war on corruption. We must stay on course. I thank you.
Give another round of applause to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Without an apology about diplomatic etiquette, I want to take the opportunity to recognize
CS Munya, all other CSs, all other PSs, Excellencies, colleagues from around the continent, all protocols observed. I'm very privileged just to say a few words on behalf of the diplomatic community and to pass apologies from my High Commissioner, Nick Haley, who couldn't be here. We're discussing such an important topic. There are few more powerful ways to drive growth and development than trade. And you see it with ordinary people in the products that they buy, and they can buy cheaper products that improve their lives. And you see it with small farmers who are exporting their products all over the world, much bigger markets than you would find in a country. And if you go around the exhibition, which I would encourage you, it's incredible, the diversity of products and the quality of products you'll see, particularly from this country, that can be exported. So I think really on behalf of the diplomatic community, I'd like to congratulate Kenya for organizing this event, Kenya Trade Week, but also the Source 21 and COMESA for this International Trade Conference. Really, it's a terrific endeavor, and congratulations. So the diplomatic community in Kenya supports trade in all kinds of ways, but I want to focus on one example. I want to focus on Trademark East Africa. And I personally believe the results are deeply impressive. So if you look at what it's done in Mombasa Port, Dar es Salaam Port, you look at what it's done at the border posts, still work to do in all those places, actually. But the progress has been deeply impressive, and I'll highlight some of it. So Mombasa to Kampala, the time taken halved to 6 days. A container now moves through the port of Mombasa in 4 days. A while back, 15 days. So this deeply matters to business. They can get their product into the market much, much more quickly. And if you look ahead, I would highlight two opportunities, and I think the former Prime Minister has put them more eloquently than me, but to amplify them. I think firstly, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, just incredibly important opportunity for everyone to grasp. And the second opportunity I would highlight is is not just to think about the products and the markets now, but to look ahead. What's really driving global exchange, information, digital? I think looking at those sets of issues as you look at your export strategy, your investment strategy, this is the way the world is changing, and I think it's really important, particularly for countries like Kenya, where the education levels are so good, the spirit of entrepreneurialism is there. I think these are really, really important things to keep in mind as you really implement your development, your export, and your investment strategies. So there are challenges. I think we've heard about some of them. I won't amplify them, but doing trade agreements can be difficult. Often the politics can get in the way. We can certainly help on the technical side. I think we've heard about the importance of local business climate. I certainly would like to associate myself with the words of the former Prime Minister. I think when business talk to us, whether it's Kenyan business or international business, they say corruption is the single biggest issue. This is something that will really need to be addressed if the export strategy and the investment strategy is really to work. And I'd like to say one thing finally as a diplomat from the UK. So the future of UK-Kenya trade, and I want to be very clear about this. So regardless of any future scenario, our Prime Minister has been very clear, and we continue to commit this, that we will ensure that Kenya retains duty-free, quota-free access for exporters from Kenya to the UK. So we've already seen the difference that trade makes to businesses and people across this region. I want to signal one further event that's coming in the future. On the 20th of July 2020, we'll be hosting the Africa Investment Summit in London. So that's something we would hope the whole region will engage with. But at this point, I would really just like to say congratulations to each and everybody who's been involved in this event. It's really important, and I'd like to thank the government of Kenya for hosting, but really each one of you involved for your leadership on this crucial issue of trade and integration. Thank you very much.
I would therefore want you to join in applauding him as he comes to address this forum.
Thank you very much. Please. The former Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga, Peter Munya, Cabinet Secretaries present, Principal Secretaries, Chief Officers, Development Partners, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are here today and for the next 2 days to come and reflect on the biggest national economic discussion in our nation. It is worth noting that Kenya Trade Week has been scheduled to take place simultaneously with the COMESA Source 21 event. We therefore extend a warm welcome, and on behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Government of Kenya, to welcome the COMESA family and all the participants to this very important forum. As you've heard, His Excellency the President was supposed to be and preside over this occasion, but he asked me to step in for him because of exigencies of duty, and he will be here on Wednesday for the COMESA Source 21 event. We gather here for Trade Week 2019 under the reality of the Africa Free Trade Area, and we must factor in this remarkable opportunity and what it means for Kenyan trade. It is important that we act early and decisively to claim a strong position in this 1.3 billion people and $3.4 trillion marketplace. To achieve this, it is important to develop a national strategy to guide our approach, and it is my hope that the Ministry of Trade is already well engaged in this task. Trade is central to our national development and economic aspirations. Consequently, it is vital that we explore all avenues to expand the reach and the value of Kenyan products both within and without our borders. Trade is a cross-cutting enabler for the Big Four agenda, that is manufacturing, food security, affordable housing, and universal health care. It is the way to create jobs and opportunities that we so dearly need. Distinguished guests, Kenya's export performance is far from its potential. Our exports grew from 537 billion in 2014 to 613 billion in 2018, indicating a 14% rise. However, during the same period, imports went up from 1.62 trillion in 2014 to 1.76 trillion in 2018. This represents an 8.6% growth. In this period, total trade volumes were up by 217 billion. But even with these positive numbers, Kenya needs to up its export volume so as to achieve balanced trade. In 2014, Kenya exported goods and services, but however, in the same year, it brought in goods and services worth 1.6 trillion, indicating a negative trade balance of 1.08 trillion. Likewise, we exported goods and services worth 613 billion in 2018, but bought goods and services from foreign countries worth 1.7 trillion, as I said, showing a negative trade balance of 1.2 trillion. From the foregoing, it is clear Kenya's export numbers lag behind our trade potential in the region and in the global marketplace, and our expanding trade deficit reflects this state of affairs. To change this, and in partnership with UK's Department for International Trade and Trademark East Africa, the government has developed the Integrated National Export Development and Promotion Strategy to grow our export share as a percentage of GDP from 8 to 22%. The strategy has identified 8 key sectors to drive this growth. These are manufacturing, agriculture, livestock, fisheries, trade in services, emerging sectors such as oil and gas, handicrafts, and cross-cutting issues which are grouped as a sector. Let us implement this strategy with urgency and diligence and begin to grow Kenya's global economic footprint. And it is important for me to say at this point, so that we have clarity on what do we want to solve. The problem is as follows. We have a huge trade deficit of close to 1 trillion Kenya shillings. It is not possible for us to make meaning of our economic growth unless we address ourselves to this huge trade deficit. And the problem is the trade deficit, and we have been explained to here, we have 2 major challenges. Number one, we have a constrained market. We have a limited market for our products. And then we have a limited diversity of the products we can export. And the third problem is that most of what we export is raw, in its raw form. It's not processed. So the challenge and the problem is as clear as it is. And what are we doing about it so that we don't look like we do not have a plan? To deal with the problem of market access. That is why today we are celebrating the Continental Africa Free Trade Area that brings together the whole continent, a population of 1.3 billion, and a GDP of $3.4 trillion. So, what we need to do at the moment is not to continue to be in the past and make the same argument we made yesterday about market access. We must now take the real opportunity that exists in the Continental Africa Free Trade Area and position ourselves to access that market and take advantage of that market. I think that is as clear as it can get. The second issue is the reason why we formulated the Big Four. Food security and manufacturing were supposed to address the other two challenges. Number one is to expand the array of products that are available for us to export. And that is why today, working with county governments, we are looking at diversification so that it's not just tea and coffee. We bring on board macadamia, we bring on board avocado, we bring on board other products, because that is the best way we are going to expand our products, as the PS told us, so that we can have access to greater market. We cannot export what we are not producing. So we have to step back, work with counties, produce a bigger array of products, and so that we can expand our reach for the market. And thirdly, that's why manufacturing become a very big component of our plan going forward, so that we do not just export, but we export what is processed. And therefore, our private sector, and Peter Nmunya has said here clearly, you have seen in our budget this year, we have concrete proposals on how to promote our processing and manufacturing sector. We have clear interventions. We have foregone revenue in some areas because we need to strike a balance between what we ask of the taxman and what we need to give up so that our manufacturing and our private sector can expand their manufacturing capacity. So I think really, as has been said here, we have all the blocks in place. So it is up to all of us now, and everybody playing their role. And I'm happy we have the Kenya Private Sector KEPSA here. We have Kenya Association of Manufacturers here. We have our friend Ngatia and his team in the room. And therefore, from next year, we will not be having a discussion about what to be done. From next year, we will be measuring results and success. And I hope that is what is going to happen next year. And again, to mention what has been East Africa. In 2013, it used to take 21 days to move goods from Mombasa to Malaba. Today, it takes a third of that. It takes 6 days. There is progress, but there is room for even greater progress. We need just to stretch what gets done. During bilateral and regional and multilateral trade negotiations, our ambition for more market access are often hamstrung by stringent technical regulations, standards, and sanitary and phytosanitary measures. These numbers are not impressive if we are to grow our economy and create jobs. And this trend does not only affect Kenya. Most African countries suffer the same imbalance of trade. Intra-Africa trade is slightly over 13%, while Africa's share of global trade is less than 5%. Africa imports more goods from the rest of the world and exports less. Raw materials comprising mainly of crude petroleum oils and gases, semi-processed minerals, and agricultural produce dominate our exports. The products would be crucial for employment, value, and wealth creation through processing and manufacturing. Conversely, a large percentage of Africa's imports is comprised of refined petroleum oils, heavy industrial machinery and equipment, motor vehicles, and various manufactured products. We must come up with measures that promote balanced trade, not only for Kenya, but also for Africa. Currently, the balance of trade is in favor of our trading partners in the West. Regional and continental integration is critical to our trade development and expansion agenda. Our COMESA is therefore a vital pillar of our vision. The government has made great progress in laying the foundation for sustained, broad-based economic growth that will rapidly reduce poverty, increase wealth, and generate employment for millions of Kenyans continuously for at least a generation. This program is ambitious and must be anchored on sound principles. One of them is that industrial development and expansion is indispensable for wealth creation, export expansion, employment opportunities on a significant scale, and the elimination of growth inequality. Therefore, a robust industrial development plan indicates the strength of national commitment to sustained growth. Kenya has a plan that integrates dimensions of rapid large-scale expansion to mobilize local capacity for export-oriented industrial growth. We must therefore assemble here again to sample the offerings of our maturing industrial sector and to interrogate the status of the integrated national export development and promotion strategy, which we launched in the last trade week. This strategy must now be evaluated in terms of package of cross-cutting enablers under the Big Four agenda and tracked as per the Vision 2030 development metrics. We also evaluate milestones in terms of agreements entered by various signatories under the Africa Trade Agenda and how our trade policy is facilitating their optimization. We have a long and storied history in international trade. We are members of COMESA. We are a principal in the integration of East African Community, and under the Cotonou Agreement of 2000, have a duty-free market access to the EU for most of the products originating from this region. Our trade partnership with the European Union under the EAC-EU Economic Partnership Agreement remains strong, as does our agreement with the US under the AGOA, which provides market access for thousands of product lines. The truth is that membership is not enough to meet our ambitions. Only maximum exploitation of the opportunities vested in these agreements will do. This week is therefore an occasion for us to explore the opportunities that lie along the continuum, beginning with local industrial expansion, diversification and specialization, extending to regional and continental integration, and culminating in global competitiveness. This is our chance to ensure that we have capacity to make the most of the opportunities we have and those we now have capacity to create. As we reflect, we must not ignore the fact that times have never been more challenging for our people. The cost of living has been tightened by rising global prices of critical commodities, an economy that is not matching our demographic dividend with adequate job creation, challenges in agricultural productivity, and intense competition. In conclusion, I would like to thank the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Cooperatives for inviting us today to reflect on the progress made thus far in the trade sector, and I want to commit that the Ministry has the support, as you have heard from the Minister, of the entire government in ensuring that this single most important component of our economy receives the attention, the backing, the goodwill of the entire government, as you have seen in the participation here today. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to officially declare Trade Week and Exposition 2019 open. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all please stand and give a standing ovation to our Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto. Let's appreciate him, please. This marks the official opening of the Kenya Trade Week 2019. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Your Excellency, former Prime Minister. Let me also recognize CS Munya, Governor Oparanya, my friend Dr. Chris Kipto, and also Ambassador Chelagat, Assistant Secretary General of COMESA, and all the other dignitaries present here today. My job is relatively easy because all the hard work has been done in terms of kicking off the Trade Week this week, and we as the private sector, on behalf of my colleagues here from Association of Manufacturers, the Chamber, and other organizations, we really are here to say thank you for putting on this event. It has been a long time coming. KEPSA was involved a year ago in the formation of the strategy, and let me reassure you, Your Excellency, that KEPSA will remain very involved. Not only as KEPSA chair do I speak here, but also I'm chairman of the East African Business Council, which means that this conversation about leadership and integration through trade is very near and dear to our hearts from both of those organizations. But I thank you for giving us the opportunity here, because this is really about talking about competitiveness. Competitiveness with the companies that are operating here, but also the competitiveness of the region. If this is going to be a region where companies choose to come and invest, whether they're local or international, we have to make the environment right. The infrastructure that you talked about, Mr. Odinga, we should fill that with manufacturing facilities, enhancement facilities for agricultural products. When we look at the things that we grow, the things that we mine, and the things that we source locally, we should ensure that our local and international investors all look at Kenya as a place where the work can be done. We have no shortage of skilled labor. We must continue to invest in that and ensure that the skills are developed and are available to everybody. And really, when you look at the amount of wealth in the world, there's no shortage of companies that want to come to Kenya to build their products and build products for us. We have an international gateway at the ocean, and going west, we will soon have all the infrastructure we need. So if our companies who are enabled to trade can really think about the fundamentals of how you differentiate your product, as you said, Your Excellency, Mr. Ruto, Dr. Ruto, if we cannot differentiate ourselves, then as business people, we're going to be dead on arrival. So we thank you for seeing all of the statistics, Dr. Kipto, about really what is happening in trade. We can see the targeted industries, we can see the targeted markets. And so what I would really implore is that we can collectively identify those companies, those SMEs that are going to be innovators. Those are going to be the companies that we're going to bank on, and we support them. And we look at our policies around competitiveness to ensure that countries outside of Kenya will say that the Kenyans are coming. We all talk about the Chinese are coming and other countries are coming, but how many countries are talking about the Kenyans are coming, the Kenyans are coming? And if we're going to support those companies, the support must begin from home. So with those few words, let me just say thank you for bringing us here. Thank you for kicking off this week. We will be here in full force for the remaining few days. The key word here is competitiveness. The key words here and the key themes are how do we support our own homegrown companies in this age of global competitiveness to become more productive. And to become more productive, we have to give them the support and the opportunities at home. And this event today is the kickoff of a week that is all about that. So we thank you very much, and may we all have a very productive week here. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give directions for the next few minutes. I'm going to ask my colleagues from the press to please take a vantage point right at the red carpet. We'll be coming there for the signing ceremony. To lead this session at the high table, I'm going to ask Dr. Kipto to lead the team. That's after.
Accountable that we implement what we are signing.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're witnessing is the signing of the commitment, of course, led by KEPS and various institutions as well. Those of us who are watching, please, let's appreciate them. They'll be taking a picture and showing what they've signed and committed to the members of the press as well. Each of them will also receive the export strategy, after which we'll pose for the pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, one time, please, let's appreciate the team together, of course, with Her Excellency, the Deputy President, Dr. William Ruto. Let's give them a clap. Let's give them a hand and cheer them on as well. Thank you. All right, some bit of organization there. All right, so we'll and show the plaque to the members of the press as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give them a round of applause. Thank you. We're going to be distributing copies of the export strategy as well to share. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please pass the export strategy booklet as well to our guests, and they will all show them around. I'm going to ask the Honorable Peter Munya to hand the export strategy and Dr. Kipto to the Deputy President, please. Let's hand over the strategy document. It's quite a booklet there. I'm going to urge all of us to please visit www.trade.go.ke. You're going to see highlights of the export strategy as well. Those are copies that are being distributed to our guests. Not to worry, I'm requesting members of the press to please organize yourselves. We'll pose for a picture, group picture. Please, let's distribute the books first. All right, so they'll pose for a picture. All right. Thank you very much, and the official handing over is right there. Oh, great. Clicking away. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Thank you to members of the press. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to the PSs. Thank you also to all of you delegates for being here and sitting through this evening. We urge you all to please visit the stands. There are